Welcome, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Sunday, May 18th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread? One card out, one more, please. These cards are sticky today. Wow. All right. I love these two cards in combination right now. We have here our 10 of Swords in its reversal, in combination with our Magician in its reversal. I keep on getting, there's a lot of this work that's happening right now in relationality to not just recognizing and identifying what a manifestation goal is, but looking at something clearly to understand what it takes to get there. And we've been talking about this over the last few days. I'm not surprised to see it. Wishes are not manifestation goals. Why are wishes? Wishes are not manifestation goals because wishes are about sitting around and waiting for something, but not doing anything to move towards it, right? It's easy to wish, right? It's easy to be like, I wish. Wishing, like, this is why, like, wishing is not what it's about. Manifestation is about saying to the universe, I'll meet you there. Okay? Because when it's saying, it's identifying and recognizing what that force is, like what it's going to take to be able to recognize and identify. And so I just keep on seeing that there's a lot of that energy right now. And that's happening across all of the frequencies, I will stress. And it is having a different impact depending on where you find yourself on the frequency cycles. This is why I keep on seeing the fact that there's a lot of energy and separation right now in Magician energy. Because I keep on, and I almost feel like this is also, it's interesting too, because I'm hearing that the whim relationships that we were talking about, like a lot of the energy and separation that is healing from whim relationships. What is often the hallmark of whim relationships when you're moving away from them? You hear someone saying, I wish a lot. Like, I wish this, I wish that, but not seeing the ability to articulate upon change. And this is why I keep on hearing that the energy right now is in separation, is in Magician energy, because they're saying it's a wish-free zone, right? They're saying that healthy partnership isn't about wishing, it's about manifesting. Because when someone says, I wish, what they're really saying is, I won't, right? Like, it's that moment or modality of saying, I don't want to do something. I just wish for something to be different. And so this is why I keep on seeing, and I got to tell you right now, especially with some of this, I told you it's feeling awful retrograde in here with Mercury being in Taurus. I would not be surprised if there wasn't some energy from the past returning right now. Or especially with Saturn moving out of Pisces into Aries, like that conversation of saying feelings have nothing to do with it. Often when someone's deep in their feelings, but they're not articulating about the ability to identify what it is that it's going to take to be able to create change, they'll talk a lot in the space of wishing, right? Because it's not about wishing. It's not about identifying how one feels. It's about being able to move the energy of the emotion into a space that it matters, that's able to cause some change. And that's why I keep on hearing there's a lot of closure that's happening right now as Saturn moves into Aries, because I keep on seeing that the message is coming through in relationality to the journey of Saturn moving into Aries is the difference between the energy that articulates the desire to wish for things, right? The identification of asking another to change something versus being able to see and identify what it takes to get there. Now for masculine, and that's why even now, and I got to tell you here, like I even see some energy in separation, like starting to build into healthy partnership. Like look at this, the difference between Magician energy and its reversal and the World card, right? Like that's a lot of that pulling backwards versus energy that pulls forward. And so I just keep on seeing that's what the energy is saying. Like this is what the energy is doing in separation. They're saying no wishes, all manifestation. And if anything, they're moving more slowly, right? They're almost apologizing to each other for the slowness of building into a relationship, specifically and particularly because I hear the energy in separation saying that they've gotten burned before by energy that articulates that they want something, but then don't do anything to be able to move towards it, right? It's not just about talking through manifestations. It's not about talking about what one wants. It's about putting one's money where its mouth is. It's about doing the work. It's about putting in that elbow grease, right? It's a lot of elbow grease energy. Now, this brings us to a lot of the energy coming into divine union. And for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, everything I'm seeing here has to do with identifying and recognizing something that one couldn't see before because you found higher ground, right? This is the beauty of those chariot partnerships that we were identifying. And a lot of that energy I was seeing was in high priestess mode. I was just getting the fact that a lot of that energy has been in high priestess mode because they're starting to heal in the way that they haven't been able to heal before, right? I keep on hearing this energy almost saying to one another, a miracle's occurred, because the miracle that has occurred is the observation of being able to see something that they couldn't before within the self, that allows the understanding of recognizing that there's some things you can't heal in traumatic environments. You got to put your weapons down, is what I keep on hearing. And that's the problem. Like, I hear like a lot of the energy right now coming into divine union, finding that higher ground, moving into the space of forgiving themselves for who they were or what they were in a moment where they were, like, I keep on hearing, like, in a space of feeling like they were in an energetic, emotional survival, right? Like, that's a lot of the energy that is articulating upon, like, I keep on hearing, like I keep on hearing, like, that journey of trying to, like, heal from something and almost feeling badly in the context of having to do so, but then finally getting into a space where you feel energetically safe again. I just keep on seeing that there's a lot of this unpacking and almost like in a space of apologizing. But this is the energy that keeps on saying that when we're truly healing, when we're having a heart opening and we're going through the heart and throat chakra, we're talking about something instead of reacting to it. This is the energy that's already articulating the fact that they're healing from something that they couldn't see before, because they're understanding that we heal from trauma not to make room for trauma. We heal from trauma so that when we finally find a moment of joy, it doesn't feel like it's an illusion. Because that's often what the trauma wants to say, right? Like, what does the trauma want to say? Nobody cares about you. Nobody loves you. This is too good for you, right? And our act of healing often feels like a riot against our trauma, because it's almost like having to look at the trauma and say, you can't talk to me like that anymore. You can't talk to me. You can't talk. Excuse me. You can't talk to me like that anymore. Who do you think you're talking to? Because that's the energy that I keep on seeing. And this is interesting because I feel like there is a little bit of that shift of moving out of high priestess right now, right? Because they're coming out of the space of the way that the trauma, about how they spoke to themselves. Because the trauma, right? What does the trauma try to dictate to you? Right? Trauma tries to dictate and say, you'll never be anything other than this, right? And this is the energy that says, right, they're breaking through on that because they're appreciating and recognizing their own energetic majesty in the space of understanding that we heal not by trying to change trauma out of trauma, but moving into spaces where we're energetically appreciated and seen and loved, bringing us into the energy deep within divine union. There's that King of Pentacles energy. I told you there's a lot of the energy right now deep within divine union, doing that work, working in from temperance into justice, right? New projects, new plans, new milestones, new goals for the self, right? I keep on hearing that this is the work that we do, and this is the energy I keep on seeing. This is the energy that's deep inside the Taurus lessons, because what do we talk about that often Taurus have to come here to heal? The thing with the Taurus lessons that we identify is, and this is hard for those with Taurus placements, that the only way, like, that our comfort, Our comfortability, the irony of comfortability, the paradox of it, is that our comfortability expands directly proportional to the discomfort that we can experience, right? That when we have like a tiny comfort zone, right? We have to be willing to kind of push our own envelopes. We have to challenge ourselves. We have to get better at things. And sometimes it's hard because we hit that point of energetic resistance within the self. But this is why I keep on seeing that ability of identifying and recognizing like what that path of work is, right? Like where that energetic healing from. That's why I keep on hearing this energy that says all patients, no excuses, because when they recognize something that they need to work on, they don't shy away from it. They lean into it, right? It's building into it's a lot of that. I keep on hearing the comfort zone that stretches, that feels like it's energetically empowering, because when you're able to do something in a way that it isn't, I keep on hearing the difference between a talent and a gift. A gift is something that is energetically natural. A talent is something that we stretch. A talent is something that we work on. A talent is something that we build towards. So there's a lot of this energy here that is working in that way. And I feel like, again, I think this has a little bit of the energy that we're seeing here with Leo being in Aries, because Aries loves being in Leo, right? Being proud of progress, right? And that's the ability of identifying how far someone has come, or how far the self has come, or identifying the nature of change, right? It's not easy. But when you feel that type of appreciation, it allows for that desire to say, like, what else, like, how else can I heal? Like, what else is there, right? Like, there's a lot of that. I keep on seeing there's a lot of that, recognition or adaptability as it relates to identifying what that work takes. Continuing to get clarification between our world card and our 8 of Wands in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify? There's that Star card in its reversal. So I need to tell you right now, if you're feeling a little run down right now, if you're feeling a little energetically exhausted, there's a couple of reasons why you may be feeling that at this time. As I mentioned, these Scorpio full moons are very transformational. And the thing about the Scorpio full moon being in Taurus season is it also may have felt a little bit particularly emotionally or spiritually volatile to a certain extent, because you have to understand that it's working in the context that Taurus energy often has a bit of a hurdle in relationality to navigating the force of change, right? Some signs love the energy of change, right? Look at a Scorpio. Scorpio's like, change. You know what I mean? Like, there are some signs that like live for a lot of that space. Taurus, it can be much like Aries has issues with working through Saturn. The energy of change for Taurus can sometimes feel difficult, right? It can feel somewhat like arduous. So if you're feeling a little bit, and a lot of this too, especially with Mercury in Taurus, because as I mentioned, Mercury in Taurus, it's not ideal position. It can feel like a lot of a retrograde. And that is when we're going through Mercury retrograde periods, it could feel like things are moving more slowly than you would expect or desire them to be. Or you could be feeling like your patience is wearing thin upon things. So if you're feeling like that, I want you to rate the path of progress of something. Specifically and particularly, because this is what I'm calling this, like, as I always do, the full moon hangover that we're experiencing right now it can feel very exhaustive in relationality to the places that you're putting one's own patience towards, either towards yourself or towards those around you. So if you're feeling that uncertainty, don't look at everything you have to do. Take a moment to like rest and appreciate how far something's come. or identifying if something hasn't come far enough, right? Like that's welcome to Gemini season. We're inching ever closer to Gemini season. So it's a lot. I like Gemini season because Gemini is always isn't about lack. Gemini is always about what's it going to take to get there. You know what I mean? Like Gemini is always about adaptability. And I got to tell you, we got a lot of planets moving into Gemini very quickly at almost the same exact time that we've got that new moon happening. So I want you to be patient with yourself, especially in relationality to your own progress right now. Continuing to get clarification between our Eight of Wands in its upright in combination with our Nine of Cups in its reversal. And it is having a different impact on masculine, feminine energy. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. I just want to draw this next card first. There's that Devil card in its reversal. And again, I really like this second row. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure that you pop over to our Substack so you can see today's spread, because it's a very beautiful spread. It talks a lot about the fact of recognizing and unlocking healing. And I keep on hearing, like, if there's that moment that you're like, I've got a lot of work to do, if you're appreciating that and you didn't realize it before, I want you to take a moment to observe how far you've come. I really do. Because this is having a different impact on King of Pentacles in combination, in its reversal, in combination with its star energy. And what we're effectively seeing here is how this feels for both masculine and feminine energy. And it is very, I got to tell you, a King of Pentacles in its reversal and a star card in its reversal are very similar. There's a lot of similarities to happening here, because I wanted to show you something. Look, like the masculine with the star card, there's also a star here, right? So we've got here. So these are almost like, this is a lot of, I want to say, you might not experience a lot of activation today between masculine and feminine, because they're very much operating in parallel. They're very much kind of like, this is giving me a space of contemplation. It's feeling a little hermit. It's feeling a little bit like hermit energy. Okay. Now for masculine, I'm seeing that this is a lot of the masculine energy. Like this is giving me like heavy Taurus season vibes, which is rest and recovery. This is R&R. This is laying back. This is taking it easy. This is appreciating that we give each other, that rest is not exclusive of work. It's necessary, because when we're able to energetically rest, we're able to find that, like, I keep on hearing recharging our batteries, as it were. So I see a lot of the masculine energy in a moment right now of feeling like they're energetically recharging their batteries coming out of this heavy, intense full moon cycle. Feminine feels more about healing. I'm seeing feminine like maybe working more through some kind of path work here of identifying and recognizing where the work is. This is the feminine. I just keep on seeing healing in the way of appreciating the self. And I keep on hearing it's very much same kind of in that modality of rest and recovery. But I'm also identifying that for a lot of the feminine energy, this could be feeling very nostalgic, potentially and especially in relationality to looking at the past and seeing how much one's point of view has changed, or observing and appreciating how far one has come. Because I feel like there's a little bit, like I hear for masculine right now, battery recharge. For feminine, I hear energetic recall, right? So that's a little bit of the energy, but you'll see how both of these energies right now are very much in kind of the same modality coming out of that. It feels a little bit like hermit energy, but that's why if there's not a lot of communication or a lot of activation between masculine and feminine right now, it's because there's like, and I always think it's funny because when I'm reading in situations, everyone's like, when are the energies in alignment? And I'm like, when they're in alignment, it's pretty quiet. Because in this alignment, it's pretty quiet. Because they're both just like, you know what I mean? Like they're both in energetic parallel to a certain extent. Continuing to get clarification. And that's happening across all of the frequencies. I'm actually curious to see if something, it feels very Aquarian. You know, so it's saying to me there's a lot of like things going on in the thought space right now. Continuing to get clarification between our three of cups in its reversal and our king of pentacles in its reversal. You see that's confirmation on the energetic recharge, because we've got here the ace of swords in its upright. So this is the energy of the masculine working into the space of being able to appreciate that rest isn't exclusive to work, it's necessary for work. That a little bit of that energy, like this is masculine, like recharging their battery to a certain extent, but in such a way that it allows for that. Like I feel like this is like working in the space of having one's work cut out for them, or a lot of like internalized planning right now. I'm actually going to draw something a little bit different here because of the way the cards are laying out. I am going to skip the center card right now because I want to see how this is playing out for feminine before I join them together in what the center card is between them. So clarification between our star card in its reversal in combination with our devil card in its reversal. Yeah, you see, now this is very intriguing. Okay, and I would really encourage you to take a look at the photo of today's spread that will be posted when we post the podcast, because the clarification between the energy of the star card in its reversal and the devil card has to do with 5 of wands in its upright. So this is a lot more of the feminine resolving conflicting feelings, or working through the space of emotional volatility within the space of the feminine. Because everything I keep on seeing here, and it's carrying forward on the lesson or the work that we were identifying in relationality to the fact that we've been talking about the lesson that's coming through, that emotions can sometimes be volatile, particularly and especially in relationality to situations that we're healing from, that we don't desire to return towards. Because remembering that when we look at the feelings like children, right, honoring emotions isn't just moving in the directionality of the emotions. It's understanding that they're the emotions that we feel that are energetically healthy versus the energy of the emotions that we're healing from. Because the emotions, being like children, is sometimes the emotions are positive, right? Sometimes the emotions ask for things that feel like they're foundational and supportive to us. Like, again, the child that says, I want a sandwich, I want a glass of water. And so we go, sure thing, emotions, here you go. But sometimes the emotions are like, I would like a box of fireworks and a match. And you say, whoa, come back here, right? You call the energy of the emotions back, and you work through where, like, what that is, like what that energetic volatility is. And so I keep on seeing that there's a lot of the energy of the feminine right now, like unpacking a lot of that energetic volatility in order. I just want to show you this. Like, look at this. Like this is the feminine coming into the space of saying it's okay not to feel okay about things, and finding ways to articulate and communicate through that, right? Like that's the energy of the feminine working through healthy boundaries. While for masculine, we've got here with the Magician in its reversal and the Ace of Swords, this feels more like the energy of the masculine that is feeling like finding like much more focusing, much more prioritizing, much more building into the ability to like identify. I keep on hearing there's also a lot of masculine energy that's healing from the illusion of rejection, because this is the masculine that's doing more of that work, that concentrating on authenticity, like what makes them uniquely themselves, as opposed to feeling like they need to fit in, or feeling like they need to fit into a mold, or feeling like they have to kind of like work into the space of articulating or looking towards another, particularly in the realm of masculinity. I keep on hearing the message when I'm reading for masculine. Masculine is taking masculinity back because they're not letting someone outside of the self tell them what it means to be energetically masculine. They're going on that journey. Like the masculine's like solo journeying, which is kind of cool in some way. Continuing to get clarification. Now, the center card between the King of Pentacles in its reversal and the Star card in its reversal with the World card in between is, boom, Seven of Cups in its upright. This is feeling like a lot of that movement into Gemini season, because it's saying to me that something about working in the context of embracing one's own uniqueness. This is exactly the type of energy that we want to see as we start to conclude Taurus season, because we've talked about the fact that Taurus season is majestic energy, right? It's identifying majesty, and that's why Taurus energy is held in the shoulders. That's why we show our shoulders to majestic energy, because it's understanding and recognizing the weight that we carry. And so that ability of identifying and recognizing it allows for that space of not feeling like one is trying to energetically fit into something, but like, and I told you with a lot of this, there's some beautiful symmetry that's happening right now with Leo being in Aries. Aries being in Leo, and also with like Saturn moving into Aries and Jupiter being in Gemini, because I keep on hearing that it's not about fitting in, it's about finding the self, right? And that ability of recognizing and identifying, it's not about who I want to be. It's the conversation that says, who am I? Because when we appreciate our own majesty, we look inwards when we ask that question. We don't look outwards. We go through that pathwork of exploration insofar as we recognize and identify and we appreciate the ability that finding ourselves is the context by which we heal from, like, I keep on hearing both masculine and energy and feminine are healing from the pathwork of comparison, because comparison is the thief of joy. That when we start to heal from constantly comparing ourselves, but instead work on growing ourselves, we are able to find ourselves, and we're able to, like, I keep on hearing, like, identify the things that make us unique. Now, and that's happening across all of the frequencies. Now, clarification between our Ace of Swords in its upright and our Seven of Cups, to try to get back into what we're seeing depending on where you are on the frequency cycles. Can I get one card to clarify? There's that Seven of Wands in its reversal. And it's interesting too, because we've got both the Five of Wands in its upright here in combination with the Seven of Wands in its reversal, which when you first look at them together, you might consider them antithetical, but they really aren't, because what I'm effectively seeing that's happening right now is there's a lot of work that is happening across the frequencies in relationality to non-attachment. And we talked about the fact that we're healing from the falsehood that non-attachment means not caring about things. Non-attachment is not about not caring about things. Non-attachment is about the articulation and recognition point of understanding the things that bother us versus the things that we're working on not being bothered by, right? And this is something that we have to do as we kind of work to heal the wounds of the ego, because we've talked a lot about the fact that often that journey, healing from, again, the illusion of rejection, working into the context of being able to embrace our authenticity. It's not easy, right? It's vulnerable. It doesn't make one feel strong. It's like you can usually tell you're healing the ego because you feel very vulnerable as you're doing it, right? It's not about feeling energetically strong all the time. It's understanding what one is carrying that doesn't feel like it serves the self. And so for a lot of the energy right now, I keep on seeing, this is why I keep on hearing that a lot of this energy and separation is in magician energy, because I just keep on hearing that this is the energy that's saying to one another that that ability of trying to be like open about how they feel about things, that ability of being able to feel the gift of being able to clearly communicate. I keep on hearing that these new partnerships, there's no holding back, and it's all off to the races. Because while they might not necessarily, this is not the, but at the same time, this also feels very, like it feels very interesting, because I keep on hearing that this is not energy that is in any way, shape, or form saying to one another, let's just see where something goes. Because never are we in more danger in a relationship than when we come to each other without clarity of intent. Because when we say, let's just see where this goes, it's the recognition that we always have manifestation goals, right? We always have a hope. We always have a desire as to what it is that we want to create with another. And when we say, let's just see where it goes, it creates that possibility of building into the context of desiring something with another for someone who doesn't share the manifestation goal. And we don't create that pathwork. We don't create that pathwork. I mean, I keep on hearing, we sometimes build new dreams when we meet the right person. But even in the context that we build new dreams when we meet the right person, it doesn't change. It doesn't change dramatically from what it was that we truly desired for ourselves, right? Like that's like a lot of the lesson that I'm hearing here. Like, I keep on hearing there's not those frequent situations where someone I'm not saying that it's not impossible, but that ability or that desire to like completely sway against one's own norm, right? Like to like, I keep on hearing like to swing something into reverse. It's more in the context of understanding that ability, right? That when we say to someone, let's just see where it goes, either one of two different things is happening, which is the energy that says, I'm too afraid to speak my dream to you, right? So it's almost like looking and holding the manifestation with a point of fear. And we never want to approach our manifestations with fear, because the ability to build into a manifestation is to be able to heal the heart and throat chakra, to be able to say it from our chest, right? Because the inability of doing so articulates the fact that there's some wounds there as it relates to communication. Or it's because there's a manifestation that we have that we feel another person might not desire. And this is why we talk a lot about here, a healthy manifestation is one that is mutually shared, right? It's not something that we carry within or we hold to ourselves. It's one that we build together. And so I keep on hearing that the energy right now building into these relationships and partnerships, they're building with both hands. They're holding on to one another's hands because it's hard. It feels like it's very vulnerable, but they're doing that hard work together to articulate upon what it is that they desire to before building into the passionate fire of relationship. Because this is the energy that says before we start forging into the passionate fire of relationship, let's make sure we're both building the same thing there. Let's make sure we're both trying to build the same thing there, instead of suddenly realizing and saying, wait, what the heck are you making? Like, what are you doing? What is that? That is not what I wanted. That is not, I don't know what that is. So I see that there's a lot of this energy that's like, it's building into anticipation and expectation, but they're articulating upon it, and this is how they're healing it, because they're healing, and because that's the energy that says to one another, if there's something about my manifestation that pulls you away, that isn't a bad thing. That's an articulation of a lack of alignment as it relates to what it is that we want to create together. Our manifestations should not feel like they're negotiations. They should feel like they are celebrations. And when we heal from the ability to be able to articulate through them, we allow that moment of joy when we feel that space of another person that says, not only do I want that too, but I'd like to add to that. I'd like to add to that. Like, there's the energy being like, it's like I almost hear the energy like pie in the skying relationship, but also in a place of like building in a healthy way, because they're sharing the mutual and energetic excitement of what it is that they're starting to build, and also recognizing the patience that is necessary and required in order to get there. right? This, I keep on hearing it's a marathon, it's not a race. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, clarification between our Seven of Cups in combination with our Five of Wands and its upright. Boom, boom, wow. We've got here the Six of Cups. This is a beautiful spread today. Absolutely beautiful spread. If you have an opportunity, head over to my Substack to take a peek at it, because everything I keep on seeing with a lot of this six of cups in its upright, I keep on hearing this is the energy. These are the chariot partnerships that are giving each other a reality check, and they're giving each other a reality check in the best way possible. Because what are they saying to one another in that reality check? You're safe now. It's the articulation of saying to one another, either unconsciously or consciously, as they're getting things off their chest, right? And in the space of, again, getting it off the chest, that means that they're doing a heart opening, because that's why we say getting it off the chest is a heart opening, because that is the expansion point of the breakthrough. That when we hold trauma, but we're able to articulate upon it instead of reacting to it, we recognize that we are healing from it. Because that is the energy that potentially, and I even see this, there's some energy right now that's saying to one another, there are moments I got close with another energy. There are moments that I got close to energetically releasing this, but lack of alignment. Someone was too scared to move away from their energetic safe zone. Someone was too scared to heal the wounds of intimacy. Because often, and this is the painful part, when we start, the reason we have to heal from trauma is when we start to heal, when we start to build into healthy relationships, the intimacy it takes, the vulnerability triggers the fear. It triggers the fear that we felt in a traumatized space. And so it almost creates that feeling of a lack of reality as it relates to something that we're building that's beautiful, because this is the energy that often feels those moments of saying this can't possibly be happening because nothing I've ever experienced has felt this way. But that moment or that decision point, this is the difference between like the space of finding joy and then pulling back into your trauma and saying that was just a dream, versus the ability to move into the space of being able to accommodate what it feels like to be in that space of safety, and looking back on the trauma and saying, no, this isn't a dream, that was a nightmare. And that ability of being able to do so, this is what we talk about in relationality to the emotional shift that occurs when we're in a healing space, because the shift is the ability to accommodate and recognize the new reality wherein you are able to heal from something that you didn't even know was possible to heal from, because you weren't recognizing the weight of what you are carrying, because you are in the space of continually trying to fight through it or push through it, right? Like that persevering energy. So this is the energy that's working through the volatility of holding into that modality. And this is what we talk about in the space that we say that peace is never found. Peace is made. It's never found. Peace is something that we actively work towards. It's something that we put our energy towards. It's not something that we go, oh, good, here comes, I found some peace. Because if you find peace and you're not ready for it, the peace will create energetic turbulence within you. And so everything I keep on seeing for a lot of the energy, recognizing and identifying that, like I keep on hearing a lot of emotional release right now, a lot of that high priestess. But it almost feels to me, it's like the high priestess energy that comes into like the recognition of identifying something that could not be seen before, that we talk a lot about in the, if you go to my Tarot Church classes, we talk a lot about this with the space of articulating upon the pathwork of the High Priestess as it relates to the tapestry behind the High Priestess, which is, again, until you find it and recognize it, you often don't know it's there. But once you see it and find it, then you don't energetically go back, because you're able to see how much it takes to be able to navigate and find that change within. Peace is never found outside the self. We're able to maintain peace when we find peace within the self. This brings us to a lot of the energy right now that is deep within divine union. And so for a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now, I keep on seeing this feels very energetically collective. This feels very energetically expansive. I keep on hearing for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, I just keep on hearing the word share. And why do I keep on hearing the word share? Because that ability of identifying and recognizing, right? Wanting to do something in a bigger way, wanting to articulate something. I keep on seeing that there's something about that heart opening or that expansion point that allows for that ability to share how we're feeling, to want to connect in some way. And I keep on hearing, especially I feel like a lot of this Gemini energy that we're about to move into is going to be about foundational or fundamental connections, right? Recognizing the strength of it, feeling that desire. I keep on hearing that desire to reach out and touch someone. It's giving me a lot of ET energy. It's giving me a lot of that space, because there's it has to do, you have to understand, and this is heavy. I'm already starting. I feel like this is a thing. Some of the energy deep within divine union is already moving into a lot of that Gemini energy. And we're going to talk a lot about this when we come into Gemini season. But that ability of understanding that, and Geminis know this, within themselves. And this is why, and this is the thing about Geminis that's so incredible, is that Geminis recognize and identify that the ability to understand the self doesn't just exist in the context of the self, but how we build into the relationships of those around us, right? It's giving me a lot of show me who your friends are. You know what I mean? Our friend, the ability of identifying and recognizing that those friendships or those connection points. And this is why it's so hard to build into that context, because that I keep on hearing that ability of working through the vulnerability that it takes to forge healthy connection. I just keep on seeing. Remember when I said that there was a lot of energy right now taking the temperature, because I almost feel like this is a precursor to being able to articulate or expand or expound upon in some way, in a way that they haven't before, particularly in relationality, as it relates to, and I keep on hearing like healing from wounds of the past in the process. So I think it's interesting, because I see all of the energy right now in hermit mode to a certain extent, with the exception of the energy deep within divine union, which is coming out of hermit mode. Is what I keep on saying. Final card for today's spread, between our Seven of Wands in its reversal in combination with the Six of Cups. One card to clarify. Yep. Oh, wow. We've got the Lover's card in its upright. And I love seeing this card here, especially because we're talking about the nature of connection. And there's a lot of this, and we're going to, I already keep on hearing, and we're going to talk a lot about this, because that ability or that adaptability point in building into healthy reflection, that ability of articulating upon it, that ability of expounding upon it, that ability of recognizing and identifying where the work is. I just keep on hearing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, this is what I meant about the fact that the energy coming into divine union is looking each other eye to eye and saying, this is reality. This is the reality check, you're safe here. But for the energy coming into divine union. This is the energy that almost says to one another that they have each other's backs, because that is the force. I just keep on seeing that identification point of saying to one another, don't, like, I keep on hearing, promise to never go easy on me, because this is the energy that when we're building into, and this is why it's so valuable that we heal our egoic wounds before we enter energetic connection. Because I keep on hearing that there's some energy deep within divine union that is recognizing the chicken and egg scenario as it relates to alignment, which is a space that says that the timeliness of when we encounter someone is often that moment. I see this energy that doesn't say you healed me, but this is the energy that says to one another, I healed myself and then I found you. Because that modality of understanding that the healthy relationship is one that challenges us at every moment, right? It's not about the fact that it's easy, but it's exciting in the space that it's always challenging us. It's always helping us. Like I keep on hearing, it always helps us unlock the doors of the self that we're working upon. Like that ability of doing so, I just keep on hearing that this is the energy that says that ability that says to one another deep within divine union, through you, I see sides of myself that I never thought existed, because that is the energy that says that the healthy connection isn't one that just, like, again, like pats the ego on the head and gives it a good day, right? It doesn't create the space of just feeling like the modality of being good with the self. It opens one's eyes to things that you haven't seen before. It shows you where the work is. It helps you identify and recognize what it is that it takes to get not just to who you are, but who you aspire to be, right? And so that's why the energy like says to one another, through you, I don't let go of my dreams. Through you, my dreams become new dreams, right? This is what we talked about in the landscape of manifestation. A healthy relationship doesn't require us to surrender our dreams. A healthy relationship is one where our dreams come into fruition and then new dreams occur, because that expansion point of alignment is such that it opens to the possibility of what can occur when we feel like we build into the context of someone who sees us with clarity. And this is what brings us to a lot of the energy right now that is coming into divine union. Because for a lot of the energy right now coming into divine union, remembering that space, like I told you, this is like the energy that was like going through and I got to tell you, like coming towards that Scorpio full moon, the difference between a breakthrough and a breakdown, the energy is exactly the same. The energy between a breakdown and a breakthrough are exactly the same. The difference between a breakdown and a breakthrough is when we're having a breakdown, we energetically react to it. When we have a breakthrough, we're able to articulate through it. We're able to talk about it. And this is the energy that's saying to one another, through you, I've had a breakthrough. And that's the energy that does not say, you've healed me. This isn't the energy that says, you complete me. This is the energy that looks at one another in the eye and says, I'm ready. And why do they say I'm ready? Because they're saying, I've gotten close with others in this way, but either they got too scared and I got too scared. Somebody ran in the wrong direction. This is the energy that understands that alignment is being able to navigate that breakthrough and not react to the trauma of the past, but to articulate through it, that allows for deepening energetic partnership. And that's why I keep on hearing nothing will ever be as vulnerable as the connection that you build with a healthy counterpart. Nothing will feel as devastating, and nothing will make you stronger in the process, because being able to recognize and feel that force of devastation, but hold on to it closer, embracing that is the healing of the vulnerability by which all things are possible, because it is the healing of trust that often trauma wants to take away from us. This brings us to a lot of the energy in separation right now. And for a lot of the energy in separation right now, this is the energy almost apologizing to each other. I told you, because they're still working through a lot of the lessons that the chariot partnerships were working through. which is holding the reins on their emotions. I keep on seeing there's energy right now that would like to be moving faster with someone. Welcome to Mercury and Taurus. This is energy that wishes that they could run towards someone that they're building into the context of relationship with open arms, but they're almost apologizing to each other. And they're apologizing to one another not because of the space that they don't trust one another, but they understand that due to the past, trust is something that is not demanded. Trust is something that is earned. So they're giving each other the time to build that consistency while the expectation is being affirmed. And I keep on hearing it's giddy energy, but it's also really frustrating because it's the energy that wishes that they could rush a process, but they're letting Saturn do its work, right? Saturn is transiting. So letting Saturn do the work to help them identify and recognize the trust is something that is found, and seeing that point of consistency every day that they build into a consistent relationship, they heal from the relationship that made them feel more in a space of constantly wishing for something to be fixed, but never seeing it fixed, because they're seeing and identifying what it takes to build into consistency isn't about wishing, it's about giving. Bottom of the deck on this reading today is, oof, there's that Four of Swords in its upright. Remember when I said it's going to feel a little retrograde right now? We've got a Pluto retrograde happening until October 13th. And a Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, so healing a lot of wounds in relationality to intimacy. A lot of the work in the subconscious. Okay, a lot of work. And that's why I said right now, if your dream space is popping off, a Pluto retrograde in Aquarius is going to do that. There may be a lot of things that you're having. You might be having a lot of wacky dreams right now. But I need to point out, I think the thing about the dreams right now that is going to be interesting is the fact that with Pluto in retrograde, it's like, I keep on describing it, it's like haunted house in the summer kind of vibes. It's like going through the haunted house in the off season and being like, okay, yeah, it's fine. Okay, boo, boo. Like you're moving away from the things that used to scare you, or working through something in such a way, because I just keep on hearing like, this is the energy is like, it doesn't have to, like, I see the energy being like, I got other things to do. I don't have time to be afraid of something from the past. It's like, I keep on, like, I see the energy like going through this to a certain extent, and it's like, woo, be like, okay, whatever. Like it's a lot of that. So if you're having dreams like this, where you're having dreams that you feel like they're scary, but you're not scared, like scary, you're like, it's weird because it was scary, but I wasn't scared. That's going to be a lot of that Pluto retrograde. It's like weird. It's creepy. It's like, ugh, but it's not like it's like, and I keep on hearing, it's like the rock that you lift up and being like, whoa, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, it's just really strange. But I also see the fact that the reason it could be feeling a lot like a Mercury retrograde right now has to do with the slowdown, because Mercury is moving through Taurus, and Mercury moving through Taurus feels like it's molasses. I keep on getting this vision, like Mercury likes to run through all of the halls of the zodiac, and then when it gets to like a couple of them, it's got to start walking. Like Mercury's like, and like it's like Mercury's like run, Taurus, walk, hello, okay, run, keeps on running kind of energy. So it can feel like things are taking longer than they should. It can create a little bit of that, and also with the fact that Saturn is moving out of Pisces into Aries, that can also trigger a lot of feelings around the past. Potentially the feelings that feel like, especially the feelings that are unresolved around the past. And so I'm going to kind of say the same thing that I talked about, which is I feel like a lot of the pathwork that we're navigating through in this season is healing and releasing bitterness. Because I keep getting the same message. We cannot control the fact that trauma occurs to us. But bitterness is the sign that we're carrying something in a way that is not supportive to us. Because bitterness is the trauma that we carry, that we poison ourselves with every step of the way, because it hurts to carry. And it's not, I keep on hearing, it's not about forgiving everything. It's not about forgiving everything. It's understanding, and this is how Taurus energy helps us. It's not, and Chiron's going to help us too, because there's something going on with Chiron I got to check out as well. it's understanding that how we carry something makes the energetic difference, right? Like if we hold something with bitterness, then anything, it's like that space of saying, I can't let go, I don't want to let go. Because sometimes, and here's the thing about it, sometimes it feels good to be bitter, right? It can feel energetically reaffirming, but it's not healthy for us, right? Because it's not that it's not like it's not the fact that you don't feel energetically validated in it, but it doesn't feel productive. And that's why I keep on hearing like all patience, no waiting, because you can't wait for bitterness to go away, right? If you're holding on to bitterness and you're like, I'm going to wait I'm going to wait till I stop feeling bitter, that's not going to work, right? It's not, you can't wait. Bitterness does not go away in time. When you're carrying bitterness, the question you don't say to yourself, the question you say is, how long do I have to wait for the bitterness to go away? You have to say to yourself, how do I have to move this into a place that that bitterness becomes purposeful? How can I move it into a space that it doesn't feel like it poisons everything, right? How do I move it into a space that it feels like it helps? It's never going to go away, right? But that ability of understanding, that the ability for us to move the things that we carry that feel like they're painful to us into a space that feels like it's affirming and productive for us, this is how we heal. If trauma could be easily released, it wouldn't be trauma. Trauma is the pain that sticks. So that's why I keep on hearing all patience, no waiting, is not waiting for that moment that trauma is going to go away. It's saying, okay, I've got trauma around this. This is who I am now. This is where we exist. And in the moment that we accept the fact that the things that we're carrying are the position by which we find ourselves, we can allow ourselves not to say, what do I have to do to forget about this? What do I have to do to let go of it? We say, how do I move through it? How do I find a way to persevere in such a fashion that it creates a strength point, that these flaws become facets, that something that occurred does not create the place of feeling like it holds us rigid, but allows for that point of expansion. And it's not easy, right? We all understand that it's not easy, but that ability of even accepting and saying that is not an easy journey, that is how we begin the process of healing. So if you're feeling that right now, I want you to say to yourself, what do I have to, like, again, what steps do I have to take to move one to a better place of joy? What feels good, what is good, right? Baby steps, not, and again, don't overlift. Never overlift during Taurus season, because overlifting in Taurus season, always like someone's like, I can lift it. Like, it's not about, it's like, I can do it myself. No, you can't. It's not okay. Don't get in that space of being like, I can do it myself, right? Like, come into that space of vulnerability and saying, you know, I want to do something myself. Maybe I can't. Like, it's working in that space that shows you what's possible, but not overstraining under the weight of what you're energetically carrying. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, there are two things I do not read for. Please keep in mind, if you want to book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I will deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site, so I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the death card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, June 11th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Temperance card. If you'd like to become a part of that class program, simply head over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've learned thus far. And as a monthly subscriber, you'll have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Archive. Now, if you become a founding member, you will have full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Archive. That is access to over 14 hours worth of material in an ever-expanding library. You'll also have access to a discounted rate on the full year's worth of reading of classes, and you will also have the opportunity of receiving a one-on-one mentorship class with me where I will meet with you personally to understand where you are in your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best impact towards your personal tarot goals. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. And I also post my mystic meditation articles, which are giving you updates on the energy in article form. I want to let you guys know that I also offer mentorship classes. Those are for any of my clients that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal schedule. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings. These can be purchased per dream or as a series. I would encourage, if you purchase a series, that you start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key messages that are coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.